Hello, Daisy Cakes. This is Daisy X Machina, the drag queen detective who investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And this is a Get Ready With Me where I put on drag makeup to hopefully film a video later today. And my question, as usual, is how is everyone's reading going? And I've been trying to read The Queen, one of my shoulder shove it horror picks, and I had thought it was going to be sort of a Stephen King-ish novel, and it's not. And I've been having some health issues, so that's been kind of flavoring how slow I'm reading and how I'm taking it in. Not my favorite book, but I'm going to finish it. I'm like 75% in. It starts with, you see it a lot on TV where it starts with this big dramatic action scene. It was really gross. It's very like explicit and graphic. And then the next chapter is 2 weeks earlier. 2 weeks earlier. And I'm just getting so tired of seeing that in books and in TV. You know, the first couple times you see it, it's like, oh, that's clever. But it seems like everyone's doing it now, like over and over. You this big action scene, and then it goes back a day or a week or whatever, and to catch you up to this point. And I don't know, I'm just kind of over it. But anyway, that's my reading. And we have John. Thank you for joining us, John. And Lori, yay. And Lynette. And Moody's here. Hey, how's it going? Alan Bradley posted on Facebook that he visited the set of the Flavia movie. Oh, great. Reading Ghost King by David Gemmell. Hey, Lex, thank you for joining us. I read Honeymoon in Hell by Frederick. So I haven't been here the last couple of weeks, and I may not be here next week, so please check the comments the day before for on my YouTube channel. But I was having trouble with my like lower back and my leg, so I went to a chiropractor, and they did this stretching thing where they put out you on the table to stretch your spine. And I also have scoliosis, which means my spine's like an S. Anyway, the next day or that evening, I was like in a lot of pain, and then my feet went numb, and then my hands went numb. It was this crazy thing that's happening to my body. My fingers are still a little bit numb and tingly. So we'll see how makeup goes. And I've gone to the doctor. I'm doing physical therapy now. I went to a neurologist, and he's doing a bunch of tests, but it's like, I don't know what's happening to me. So and I'm kind of tired too, which I just think is my body's way of saying to rest. But I'm sure I have some type of pinched nerve or something weird is going on, but we'll see. So to make a long story long, I'm hoping, I mean, I really want to finish my top 10 or top 100 fantasy and science fiction writers. And, but I may take it easy in the coming weeks. So just, check my comment section to see if I'm going to be here on Saturdays. I'm going to try to make it if I can. Certainly if I feel better, I will, but it is what it is. Reading Tokyo Usino Station. Interesting. Frederick Brown, sci-fi short stories written in the 49s and 50s. I don't know that author at all. Then textbooks. Gene Kuhn wrote an episode of Star Trek, and then someone told him it was very similar to a Frederick Brown story. Oh, that's funny. Isn't that what happened with Heinlein with the Tribbles? I went to my first chiropractor appointment 2 days ago. Yeah, you know, Lex, see, people have warned me about chiropractors in the past, and I've gone before, and this is the first time I've had anything like this happen to me, but my body's just not reacting well. It seems Kuhn subconsciously remembered Brown's story. Celtic New Year blessings. Oh, I didn't know that. Or Celtic. Oh, they credited Brown. That's what they should have done with Highline. I don't think they did though, because the Tribbles are very familiar with the Rolling Stones. They had these little cats. Okay, anyway, I am not going to try to do much, anything fancy today. I'm just going to do I think a purple look. I'm trying to find a dark purple. Okay. Oh, Lynette, I was thinking of you because AMC is showing a mini series of the Midwich Cuckoos, which was a John Wyndham novel, and it's not that bad. It's a lot better than the movie they did in the '90s with Kirstie Alley and Christopher Reeve. It was Christopher Reeve's last movie. Still not as good as the '60s black and white movie, Village of the Damned. Hey, Lex, thank you for joining us, and have a good grocery run. In Coon's story, Kirk battled against a Gorn, but in Brown's story, it was a red rolling ball with tentacles. I received the Star Trek Arena T-shirt as a gift recently. Oh, how serendipitous! I also read the Indifferent Stars Above about the Donner Party. Yipes. Brittle arms mean I have a safe place from the booms. And oh gosh, I'm so sorry that you have to go through that. Mooney's in Israel. I have to look at the series. It's really good. Although I've started a uni in Muslim art and sociology. Interesting. And Moonshot, which covered the American space program from start, program Mercury to a little after the Apollo missions. Star Vampire from Cthulhu. Okay, I need to do this over here. Okay. It's okay as a joke reminds me of my childhood. That's 4. Hey, Rico. Just finished Evolution by Stephen Baxter. One of the better hard sci-fi novels I've read in the last few years. Oh, interesting. Is it recently published? Your opinion of Buzz Aldrin has plummeted, but that is political, so I won't say more. I was disappointed in him too. The third season of Good Omens will be the only movie without Gaiman's involvement. I'll publish in 2002. Yeah, just to get political, I apologize, Laurie, but this is going to not be that political. But obviously, for me, I wanted the election to go a different way. But I've been thinking that I am in such a bubble, and I blame social media for it, that I just don't know what, like, I'm liberal, I voted for Harris, but it felt like it was inevitable that Harris was going to win. But I think that's because of the bubble I live in. In social media, I'm always getting reinforced with people that think like me, that I'm not getting a feel of what other people are going through or thinking. So it's just like an evolution of, I guess, society, how we're going to manage, where everyone is just getting their opinions reinforced through the algorithms of social media. It's like, for example, right now my Instagram, I find it interesting to watch like potters do their pottery and like the wheels going and how they shape things. But that's in my feed now. Everything is pottery related because I've watched a few pottery videos. Okay. Does anyone have recommendations for Bluetooth headphones? I don't have them. I just got like a real cheap pair off of Amazon, but I don't like the earbuds. I know people are crazy about those earbuds, but they make it hurts my ear. So I just like the ones do I have one? Well, that curl around the ear, and I got a generic cheap cheap one off Amazon. Saw a video with Aldrin and 3 other astronauts stating we had to go back to Mars. Well, Elon Musk, I'm sure will be there. Wouldn't have been joint 4B movement, but I sort of did that more than 30 years ago. I think it is important to hear other people's point of views. It's hard for me to understand my own. Good point. Only more of them have voted. I hate earpods. They make me itch. Same with my hearing aids. Oh, I'm sorry you have to do a hearing aid. My grandfather had to have a hearing aid most of his life. I actually think this is pretty good. I do think that the new media, like these podcasts, the Joe Rogans, and things that are not cable TV, are going to be more important, which kind of sucks because they're not serious journalists. But there's a YouTube channel called Breaking Points, which is a conservative and a liberal, pretty much independent thinkers that are, running their own news program, which is kind of interesting. Okay. Get that one a little bit of black. Certainly, the network channels seem to be really just one way or the other. But it does feel like we're living in that Chinese curse of living in interesting times. Okay. Oh, thank you, John. We went to Nashville to see Cyndi Lauper, and I was in the middle of my back and hand and feet issues, so I wasn't able to walk as much as I wanted to because it hurts a lot to walk. But Cyndi Lauper was great. I mean, she's 71 years old. She's rocking in an arena concert. Um, she did all her hits. Very vibrant, exciting. So, it was a great concert. I think the women who are joining 4B are the ones who did vote. I joined Blue Sky a couple days ago, much better than Twitter. I signed up for it just to reserve my name, but I joined 4B by accident. Hey, Lola, thank you for joining. I need a good book that gives a good overview of the history of the U.S. Any recommendations? Okay, this is, let me just catch up. Hey, Frank. 4B. Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee gives one perspective. Hey, Evie, can only stay long. Just wanted to say hi. I hope whatever you are reading is a great read. Thank you, Evie. I read Bury My Heart 2 times and plan to listen to the audiobook. John Lynette Moon got totally unexpected visitor. No problem. Okay. If you want a sort of alternate historical view, Gore Vidal, who wrote like Myra Breckinridge, Duluth, a lot of my, I think, really great, funny books during the 60s and 70s, has, in his later years, did a series of, I don't know what you would call it. I nonfiction, maybe sort of like it's Truman Capote's um, what's that novel, The Blood? Gosh, my mind is mush. Sort of a literary journalism type thing, um, through different eras of American history, and it gives a very different viewpoint of American history than what you would read in history books. But Vidal was a very unusual, progressive person, so it's going to be slanted in that direction. But it's interesting. I wonder how they are in audiobooks. I want to read more of them, but I know I read Burr, which gives a totally different viewpoint of figures like Jefferson and especially George Washington and historical events. Okay, anyway. Have read Buried My Heart in Knee. Just finished American Rapture by C.J. Lead, about a virus that makes people sex-crazed zombies. That most people were like that already. Haven't read any Gore Vidal. I like Gore Vidal. He wrote one of the first, I think you would call it mainstream gay novels, The City and the Pillar. Which that's going to spoil the ending. I guess I won't spoil the ending. But it wasn't like novels that had gay characters around that time in the 40s and 50s were very tragic. But for Vidal, he wanted his gay character to be very angry and rebellious, and it's a wild ending. Anyway, probably not very politically correct. Let me. And I know people think, oops. Just think of Myra Breckinridge as a really awful movie, or maybe it's campy now from the, what was it, 70s, 60s? With Mae West and Raquel Welch, and about someone that has a man that, excuse me, that has a sex change and sort of goes from Myron to Myra and is out to get revenge on the world. Great book. The books are so funny. The movie, though, is awful, I think. Most people think. I also really liked his novel Duluth, which is very psychedelic. But again, these are not anything like his historical American history novels that he wrote later. But I'd recommend giving him a try if you're into American history and want a different perspective. God, why is this? I think this is new eyeliner and it's not. Okay. I picked up Bill Bryson's book about Shakespeare from a little free library. I haven't read Bryson before. Very controversial. I'm talking about Myra. Wrote a great novel about, Burr. Myra Breckinridge, very risque for the time. My cover read in the last couple of weeks have been mystery novels by Anne Cleves. My dad, the Myra movie, thought it was kind of funny at the time, and he'd see something like that. I read a sci-fi novel back in the 70s where the hero-heroine changed sex a number of times to exact revenge. Oh, you didn't think Duluth was one of his best? I thought it was hilarious. Would you change sex just once, John, if you had the chance? If we were in if we had the technology just to change back and forth like it was nothing, I certainly would try. Oh, this pen's. Okay, we're just going to move forward. I'm just going to do a silver lid. Done drag a few times. Yay! I have no desire to change to being a man. For Halloween. I don't know, is Halloween big in the UK? I know in the Philippines, it's much more religious. As the All Saints Eve. Okay. Did the Lahaina Halloween party one year. Mate did not recognize me till I spoke. That's funny. Oh dear. Halloween Bishops and Tarts party. Oh, I think I've heard of that. I've seen that in some show. I have finished planning my self-challenge for next year, but I have listed around 200 books. Wow. Mm. Okay, we're going to. And we'll be reading on Earth as it is on television. I like that book that he charts. Okay. But my question is for the UK, I'm sure the Tarts and Bishops is very adult, but what about the kids? Do they get to go trick or treating? I loved trick or treating as a kid. Used to that kind of drinker, but got tired of waking up in jail. Oh no, Frank. Those days had the women as clergy and the men as charged. So cute. Look at my mug shots if you don't know what I look like. I was a lot better looking then. Weren't we all? I'm going to. Okay, that silver went everywhere. There was a video in England on YouTube about some there were these like sort of thugs, not thugs, but these young men who were like harassing people on the street. And a couple of people in drag were walking through. So, of course, these men were like harassing them. What they didn't know was these two people in drag. One of them was a MMA fighter. And I think they're like going out for like what do you call it, a fancy night out or something. I don't think it was like the Halloween or anything. But anyway, they were going out for some party night. One of them was an MMA fighter, and he just I don't know what he did. And one of the men was like really tall and big, but he just like did these like jabs on them, and they just collapsed to the floor. And and the person in drag, the man in drag, just sort of hitched up his purse and walked away. It was amazing. Not that I condone violence, but my sister was dressed up as a man and walked around the city. She ran into her son and he didn't recognize her. Thought she was some weirdo when she started talking with him. That's funny. Watched a video where a man dressed as a woman and walked around Cairo. He said it was a frightening experience. Just Google, not don't Google, go onto YouTube and search for drag, London, fight, MMA. You should try a couple of those keywords. When my wife was in cabaret, I went to a performance in drag. While I was in line, one of our friends brought me a chair because he did not want me standing so long in heels and started chatting with me. You should have seen his face. Cairo, dangerous as hell for women. There are some places in the U.S. You know, what was I going to say? Oh, heels. I cannot wear heels. And it's not like I can't walk with them. I do pretty good job, like walking and stuff with them, but they just kill my feet. I could wear heels for like 10 minutes. After that, my feet just kill me. Yeah, I don't know how some people do it. I'm sure you just get used to it, but don't some women have like feet issues later in years if they like wear high heels all the time? Ay, ay, ay. That's what some countries are. I can't wear heels. I hate them. I'm too clumsy. What did you miss? We're talking about going out and drag. It does something to one of the tendons, and they can't wear flats again. pen is driving me nuts. And by pen, I mean eyeliner. Okay. Car guy was harassed. Even he wore a Sajib. One man followed him for 45 minutes. Big mistake to let so many into Europe. Oh, sorry, Lori. I wish I was as patient when I do my makeup. I always try it to be done less than 10 minutes. Well, drag makeup, Lola, is a lot different than regular makeup. So, because there's a lot. Hey, it's Deegan. I've only recently stumbled on your channel. I really like your video about Octavia E. Butler. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. So once I'm done the trying to find a brush. My top 100 fantasy and science fiction writers. I'm thinking about going back through some of the old like Hugo Awards and doing kind of a shelve it or shove it. But picking some of the older writers, because I'm doing the new writers with shelve it or shove it, but there are so many, as I'm getting reminded as I do my top 100 charts, there's so many authors from previous years that deserve another look. Go. And that's just thinking of using the Hugos just because it's a convenient way to list some of the books. Okay, so that's where I think I'm going to do that. I might read Dawn by Butler next year, but it sounds rather depressing. Yeah, they're a lot of her books are kind of like that. I have Dawn back here somewhere. That the time travel one, is it? Shove it or shove it with Hugo's sounds good. Yay. I was at a wedding in Vegas in a kilt. I was accosted by a guy who thought it was a transvestite. What an idiot. You can be sure the guy's never been to Scotland. I think Mormon. Yeah. I don't know why skirts for men just haven't taken off. They try, like every 10 or 15 years, some designer tries to make skirts for men work, but only kilts seem to have caught on in one country. Grimson came out. Oh, I remember that Star Trek: The Next Generation when, yeah, they had the formal when Picard was in the formal jacket or something with a skirt, and some of the men had skirts. I think that lasted through season 1. I wore a kilt around here, would have to fight for my life every day. Oh, goodness. Okay, so let me do some purple underneath. And there, I think the eyes are done. In Scotland, you could hire tradesmen wearing kilts. In early TNG, they had guys in the background in skirts. Yeah, that too. They tried it one season. That was it. Okay. Thinking about lips. Should I do purple? I'm just going to do a red lip. I don't feel like futzing around. I always wondered why some of the Enterprise crew was so overweight. You would think that they would cure obesity by then. Yeah. Is that what Ozempic is? I don't really remember many of the crew being overweight. Less overweight is a fashion statement. We had these 20th century actors. I'm surprised at the paunchiness of cops in the US. You don't see that in field officers in the UK police forces. That's an interesting observation. I think there is sort of a training regimen for young police officers to become a cop, to go through this training, but I don't think you have to keep it up. Okay, I'm going to blinding myself with light. I want to fix these lips. Okay. Okay. Old Scotty and old Riker were a bit paunchy. There are too many donut shops in the US. Way too many without the cops. A lot would go out of business. You guys, donut shop at my shopping center closed down. Oh no. I'm a sucker for Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme is my favorite. I like Boston creams. It's sort of like the round donut filled with cream with a chocolate topping. last but not least, eyelashes. In Scotland, what Americans call donuts called dough rings. Donuts are more solid and have fillings. Okay, that's what a Boston cream is. We have donuts with holes and jam-filled donuts, but they're just called donuts. Same. Haggis. Frank, have you ever heard of Scrapple? When I lived in Maryland, I think it's a Pennsylvania Dutch thing, and my stepmother was Pennsylvania Dutch. And they love their Scrapple, and guess what Scrapple is? Someone could Google that, but I'm assuming it's similar to haggis. And it's funny because Scrapple, when I had it as I guess as a teenager, I really didn't like the taste of it, but it was commonly, at least my stepmother did, and I assume it's a Pennsylvania Dutch thing, but she would serve it with syrup, so you could like pour syrup over it like it was a pancake, which helped, but still wasn't my favorite. Oh, shoot. Really tasty. Finish your Christmas present shopping. Oh, Lynette, that's so early. Scrapple equals guts. Only buy for 3 people. Some people even eat cow brains. Sheep's heart, liver. Well, you know, I don't know about some of these, but at least the liver has a lot of iron. If you're like iron deficient. My mother used to eat, I mean, it's all part of an animal. I don't know. I personally don't eat red meat. I haven't eaten red meat in like probably over 30 years. But I eat chicken and fish, poultry and seafood. Okay. Yep. Usually they have the courtesy to wait till after Halloween nowadays, but it's maybe I'm hallucinating, but didn't they used to wait till after Thanksgiving for the Christmas decorations? But nowadays it's as soon as they can. I only eat red meat if it is grass-fed. Christmas parade being held later this month. Yeah, I saw Papillon. It also had eat cockroaches. Yeah, that was so gross. It's also with Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, if you have to survive, you have to do what you got to do. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to leave the makeup. Okay. Grab. So I'm now a toothless old man. It's not safe for me to eat ribeyes anymore. Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, I love that movie, that Tim Burton movie. Put up your tree on December 1st. Outside Europe, Canada, and the US, insects are part of the world diet. Yeah, we usually get a real tree. Oops. And, oh shit. The wig I grabbed is the double stack. There. Okay. Did this one in an hour. Like I said, I'm still not feeling great, so I just tried something that I know works and is simple for me to do. And I'm going to attempt to film part 10 of the science fiction, top 100 science fiction writers. And yeah, that's what I'm going to try to film today. And what is the date? I think this week I'm going to release the part 9 of the fantasies, and then Shelve It or Shove It, and then we'll go to the part 10. And once again, you guys, please check the comments or my community tab to make sure I'm going to be here, because like I said, I'm still dealing with some stuff to make sure that I'll be here on Saturday. But this went pretty well, so hopefully I'm going to be able to continue. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Rico. Thank you, John. The MILF hair. Never found out why Unwed Sick Daisy missed the first 50 minutes. I don't know what's going on with me. Has the last D in it? Yes, it does. probably couldn't even name. Oh, DK. You know, I thought I was wondering too, but when I was like going back through, what was it? Through like my Goodreads and what I had on my Kindle and looking through my bookshelves, I was like, yeah, I could do 100. Easy. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, everyone. And as usual, may all the books you read be blessed.